Hi there, gang. Welcome to this inspired sale course on the company story and the installation video. So this course is going to feel a little different. This module is going to feel a little bit different. I want to start by just asking you what made you choose Floor Coverings International. I want you to think about that for a moment. Some of you that are watching this are design associates, and you were offered a job to work for a franchise owner for Floor Coverings International. But you probably had the option to work for somebody else. You probably had the option to go somewhere else. So what was it that made you choose Floor Coverings International versus some other place? And I just want you to think about that for a moment. And for those of you that are brand new franchisees going through this, you have spent a lot of money to jump into Floor Coverings International family. And so I'm going to ask you the same question. What made you choose Floor Coverings International over all of the other possibilities that you could have invested in? And the reason that I'm asking you to think about that is because when you go into a customer's home, that customer is also going to choose Floor Coverings International, or they won't. So what were the things that made this personal for you? I mean, really get down to it. What was it about Floor Coverings International that drew you to this company? Was it the customer service? Was it the support? What was it? What was it for you that drew you to Floor Coverings International? And how can you use that as part of your story with your customer? So just think through that. And you might even pause this video for a moment and just sort of think through, how would that work? So we're diving into the company story, right? You've had an opportunity to do a setup call. Then a day or two later, you drove over to the customer's house. You had a wonderful warm-up, learned all about what they enjoy doing. You figured out what they enjoy spending their time and money on. And then at the end of that warm-up, you use the transition questions to transition to step two, right? So how long have you been thinking about replacing your floor? And what made you decide to do it today? And oh, really, what made you say that? Or if you have to, what made you decide to buy from me today? And so you've gotten to step two. They told you, they gave you an objection, whatever it was. I'm just doing research. I'm getting other estimates. I've got a fence to build, whatever. And so you said, great, let's go take a look at the space together. So now you and the customer have walked through the space together, right? And while you were walking through the space, you took mental note, or maybe you even jotted it down on your clipboard. This is what the current floor is and the subfloor, and this is what we're going to have to move out of the way. And you ask the customer probing questions like, what is it about this floor that makes you want to change it? Or what is it that you're looking for your new space to look like? What are you trying to accomplish with this space? What do you want your new floor to look like and feel like? And how do you want it to last? And so you've gotten a great mental picture of what it is that new floor is going to look like. And you've already got mental notes about how you're going to write this proposal. And just before you do that, you ask the customer, hey, would you do me a favor? And you go through the reference list. And that's how you sort of transition to step three. So now you've taken your inspection video, you feel like you did a pretty good job with that, and you've measured the space, you've walked out to the van. All right, so now we've got to get into the mindset here. You've walked out to the van and you've pulled some samples. You came up with three options. How many sample boards did you select for option one? Probably 3 or 4. Option two, maybe it's 2 or 3. Option three, maybe it's only 1 or 2 boards. So depending on the geography and how the van is situated and whatever else, maybe you bring all the boards up and leave some on the front porch. Maybe you leave the option 2 and 3 boards sitting on the front seat of the van so they're quicker and easier to get to, and you only carry the 3 or 4 boards in for option 1. Completely up to you. You decide what works best for you, all right? But you knock on the door, you ring the doorbell, and you come back in. And as you're transitioning back into the house, it's a great time to ask the customer, so did you get in touch with any of the reference lists? What did they have to say? Perfect. And now you're sitting down somewhere. Maybe you're at the kitchen table. Maybe you're on the couch, right? You say, let me show you what I found in my digital assessment, or let me show you what the inspection video revealed. And you simply turn the tablet to them and let them see the inspection video. Now you turn the tablet back to yourself and cue up the company story. And this is where I like to have the tablet facing me as I start my first slide of the company story. And then I turn the slide over to them so that they can see the slide while, I might be a slide or 2 in before they realize, wait a minute, what's going on here? Okay. What I don't want to do, okay, what I absolutely do not want to do is I don't want to ask permission to give them a presentation because I'm going to get told no. So after the inspection video plays, I'm just going to roll right into the company story and watch your language here. This is really, really subtle. I want you to think about the language that you're going to use. Okay. No, it's not word for word, but there's words and there's phrases that can get you in trouble. So if you say something like, now I'd like to tell you a little bit about my company. Oh my gosh, the red flags go up, the lights start blinking in the customers. Oh no, 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 no. Now it's time for the presentation, right? Now it's time to get sold. So I would advise you to avoid things like, well, let me tell you a little bit about my company. It just opens the door for the customer to say, nope, not interested. So instead, once the inspection video finishes, simply turn the tablet back to yourself, cue up the company story, which is just a single swipe over, and then begin speaking to the first slide. And as you're speaking to the first slide, simply turn the tablet to them and keep on trucking. All right, so the company story, let's dive in a little bit. What is it for? Well, that company story is all about giving you the opportunity to differentiate yourself, right? To me, this is the single most powerful sales tool that you have in your toolbox. I know that there's some franchisees that skip doing this. I don't, for the life of me, understand why, because this is the opportunity for you to differentiate and build your value proposition. If you don't use the company story, it's like building a house, but deciding you're not going to use a hammer. Okay, so instead you build the house by hammering all the nails in with the back of a screwdriver. Can you do it? Yeah, you can, but my gosh, you've got a much better tool in the toolbox. Show the customer why we are the only estimate that they need. And you can absolutely do that with an effective company story. Use the company story to price condition. Oh my gosh, it's such a beautiful thing when you can show the customer that you get to the end of the company story and they feel like this price is going to be a $30,000 price. And when you show them a price and it's only 15, they're like, wow, that's a deal compared to what I thought it was going to be. You can help in the company story, you can help the customer see that we are the #1 rated flooring company in North America. If you don't tell them, how are they going to know? They'll never know. And this is where, when you really get good at the company story, you are personalizing it for the greatest impact. So when you give the company story, it should never sound the same way twice. It should always be different because every customer is different and every situation is different. Learning strategy. So I recommend, but everybody's different. So if this doesn't work for you, that's fine. But I recommend that from a learning strategy standpoint, that you start by memorizing the order of the slides. Okay, that's why we put the module together that way. Then put the slide content to the slides. So once you've kind of got the slide order in mind, now start to build your content on it. You know what the key points are for each slide. Use those key points, but build it yourself. Don't just rely on some script that you found. Build slide transitions in so that the company story flows, right? It's a smooth. It's not just a slide after slide after slide. Personalize it. Be able to answer the question for the customer, what's in it for me? Why is this important to me? What difference does it make? Now, below the line, there's a couple of, let's call them more advanced techniques, like understand, alter, convert. Some of you have probably heard of this as being feel, felt, found. It's the same concept, where you're addressing the customer's concerns, you're addressing their objections as you're working through the company story. And then price condition. Yes, you can absolutely price condition in the company story, and it's absolutely beautiful. The second piece of this, so the company story is actually the company story and the installation video, and they're sort of sandwiched together. Even though on the inspired sale it shows as step 4 and step 5, those two steps sort of get merged because the company story and the installation video are all right there together, right? So when we think about the installation video, this is all about showing the customer what's involved in the flooring installation. This is where you get a chance to build your value and talk through the production process, right? This is what you can expect. People buy cars like every 2 or 3 years. And so people get really good at buying cars and they know what to expect. On average, people only buy floors like every 10 or 12 years. I mean, there's people that will go 20 years and never buy a floor. So they're not good at it. Okay, they don't know what to expect. They don't know what's involved. Okay, my neighbor, a next door neighbor, just recently hired Floor Coverings International to do a hardwood floor in their home. Now, in the end, the floor looks absolutely fantastic. Everything's great. But my next door neighbor really had no idea of the mess that there was going to be by sanding and finishing a hardwood floor in their home. Well, you've got to help the customer understand what that process looks like. And the installation video is a great place to bring out this is what it looks like. This helps combat the I might do it myself self objection, right? So you have somebody that calls you into the home and what made you decide to do it today? Well, I may not do it. I'm thinking of doing it myself. Well, when you show the customer what's involved in the installation, they may decide that doing it themselves is probably not the best thing to do. Now, if you really want to make this powerful, you have to know your competition. You need to secret shop, mystery shop your competitors. Walk in without a Floor Coverings International shirt on, go through their process, see how they tee up their customers, and learn what they do. If you're going to be effective in your market at showing your customers what your competitors do, you better know what they do and don't just make a bunch of stuff up. So I'm going to shift gears here. And I'm just going to go through a simple company story presentation with the installation video. Now, I said that they're always going to sound different, and they will. If you see me one day and ask me to go through the company story, I'm going to say it differently. It's never the same way twice, and I don't say it the same way twice. So let's go. You know, give you a little bit of background about me. I spent over 25 years in the world of manufacturing. And when I decided to get out of manufacturing, I looked for a company to join that I felt like had top-notch customer service. I also looked for a company, once I sort of picked home improvement, I looked for a company where processes were tight. Coming out of manufacturing, I gained a lot of respect for people who knew how to manage a process, manage a project. And by managing that project, they made sure that things went the way they were supposed to go. So for me, one of the things that I love most about my job is knowing that I'm working with a company whose processes are tight and tight enough that customer service is the number one thing. As a matter of fact, our promise to you is that you are going to get the best flooring experience in all of North America. We're rated number one for a good reason. We provide the absolute best level of customer service. And you know, it's funny because we actually, Floor Coverings International is part of a bigger company called First Service Brands. And First Service Brands, I mean, service is right there in the middle name. You can see all these other companies like California Closets and Paul Davis. We're a lot of companies that go into people's homes, and we do actually share information, not about the customer, but about what it means to do things right for the customer when you're in the home. So do we do it right? Well, you know, we've had over 400,000 customers, and we're now at over 200 locations across North America. What's really cool about that is we're big enough now. We're actually the 8th largest flooring company in North America. And what's cool about that is we are now getting, because of our size, we are now getting exclusive products from manufacturers. We're getting things from manufacturers. We've got the leverage on manufacturers that you would expect from a really, really big company. But because we're locally owned and operated, the customer gets the benefit of all that leverage, but also gets the benefit of working with a locally owned company. So we're in the community. It also means that we see our customers in the grocery store, and we love it because people absolutely love what we do. When I see one of my customers in the grocery store, I want to see them because I know that they had a great experience. How do I know? Because we've got a 4.8 out of 5-star rating. So if you think about the world of construction, things go wrong sometimes, right? Well, and I'm not going to tell you that this is going to be perfect. There may be something that happens, but I know that in the end, we're going to absolutely make it right. I've had jobs that went sideways, not as a fault of our own, but you get into a project and you see something you didn't expect, or something happens you didn't expect to happen. But at the end of the day, people tend to trust that Floor Coverings International is going to do what they said that we're going to do what we said we're going to do. They've had a chance to read the reviews and see what other people have to say. And oftentimes our customers reward us by giving us a 4.8 out of 5-star rating. What's really incredible about this rating is that we earn this in a very, very difficult industry. So unfortunately, the home improvement industry is not a great industry when it comes to customer service. You may have heard of the Better Business Bureau. They're like the watchdog for home improvement and all sorts of other companies as well. They did a study of their database and found 10.7 million complaints registered against home improvement companies. And interestingly, in that database, they found that 80% of the time, so 4 out of 5 people that went with the lowest bid had a major problem getting their job finished. Never mind done right, just getting it finished. So my promise to you is that as I put a proposal together for you today, that my proposal is going to include just the right amount of material, the right amount of labor, the right level for customer service to make sure that you have a great experience. I may not be the cheapest one. Often we're not the cheapest ones, but we're the ones that price a job correctly to make sure you get the value for the money that you deserve. And that's how we earn our stars. I mean, frankly, we've got the mobile showroom to make the shopping experience easy. We're a local team that you can trust. So being locally owned and operated means that we're right here. We see you in the grocery store. We're going to absolutely communicate with you every step of the way, which I know is extremely important for people to know what's about to happen in their home. We offer a seamless experience. So we're going to move the furniture. We're going to rip out the old flooring. We're going to put everything back when we're done so that you literally don't have to lift a finger on anything. We're going to focus 100% on customer satisfaction. We're not happy with this job until you're happy with this job. Now, you may have heard horror stories about contractors that say that they have insurance, but they don't, like these ghost policies that are out there. You can be assured that we are licensed, we're insured. If you ever want to see a copy of our insurance certificate, I'll be happy to provide that for you. And we take training extremely serious. I know if I add up the amount of time that I spend in training over the course of a year, never mind my initial training, but I spend about 300 hours a year training on new products, on the way things get installed. I mean, I know people don't often replace their floor, but the world of flooring is changing very, very fast. And so we have to stay up to date on what's happening, not just us, but also our installers. So I want to show you a little bit about the install process. There's just a quick video here so that you understand what it is that you can expect on the day of install. So first of all, we're going to show up on time. I'll give you a window, let's say from 8 to 10 a.m., and we will be there within that window. Now, when we get there, we're going to start by carefully moving the furniture out of the way, okay? We're going to ask you to take care of all the knickknacks and to take care of any electronics, but we're going to take care of moving the big stuff for you. We're going to take out all the old material. We're going to throw that away properly, okay? We're not going to leave that on the street so that you become the joke on the Facebook page. No, no, no. We're not doing that. And then my guys are going to make sure that the floor is clean and ready for the new materials. The installers that we hire are top-notch installers. As a matter of fact, we pay a little bit more for them in this area to make sure that it's done exceptionally well. We're going to finish with trim, either quarter round or baseboards, depending on what you want. We'll put the furniture back in place, and then when we're finished, we do something that not a lot of other people do. I'm going to come back and make sure that the floor is exactly the way that you wanted it, and that you are 100% happy with the job that we did. It's what we call our happy walk, and we do it about 10 days after the install is done. So you can see from these pictures, we make a big difference in people's homes. But it's not just the home, it's in people's lives, because we want you to have the best experience possible with Floor Coverings International. Now, how do you choose? Because there's a ton of companies out there, right? Big box stores, little box stores, everything. And I know that I have competitors. I've got one competitor that, you know what, if he came in here, he'd probably give you a $5,000 quote to start with. I've got other competitors that are going to probably price this out at 20 grand. So how do you know which one's right? Well, one thing about Floor Coverings International is we are manufactured direct. So we're not buying through wholesalers. So we typically can get the right products, the right level of quality, and we know where these products have been, right? They're not going from warehouse to warehouse to warehouse. We know they came from the manufacturer straight to us. So that's going to help a lot. And then you've got the guys that'll give you a really, really low price, right? And who knows what they're going to do. A lot of my competitors will come in and give you a in the dirt price today, but then on the day of the job, they're going to charge you extra for moving furniture. Yes, I know. I've seen the contracts. I've seen the signs that say free furniture move. But when you get into the details, you realize that it's free for pieces that are less than 25 pounds. Well, how many pieces of furniture do you have that are less than 25 pounds? So all of a sudden on the day of the install, there's all these extra charges. When I say stairs, I don't mean putting the flooring on stairs. I mean that there's contractors that are out there that will charge you extra if the installers have to walk up the stairs to get to the front of the door, to the front door of the house, right? And they'll charge you per step every time they go up and down. It's crazy. They'll charge you for floor prep and upgraded pad. There's all sorts of crazy things. When I present a proposal to you today, it's going to be a to the penny proposal with no hidden charges and no surprises. We just try to make the process easy for you. Whether you're looking for hardwood, carpet, we can do backsplashes for you. There's a lot of different things that we offer. We just want to make it really easy. We're not happy until you're happy. So let's build your perfect solution. Thank you for watching. I hope this was helpful. If you asked me to do it again, I would do it completely different. Why? Because I do it different every time. It keeps it fresh for me. And if it's fresh for me, then it's fresh for my customers. If I get bored with it, they're going to be bored with it. So let's keep it fresh so that if you're not bored with it, maybe your customers won't be bored with it either. Thanks for watching. I look forward to working with you in the next module.